Part 3 of Dental Pulp Practical session. In this part, we are going to discuss different regions of the dental pulp when seen under the microscope. Remember, we discussed earlier that when we take a section of dental pulp, we will see on the outer surface a layer of odontoblasts on the surface with loose connective tissue underneath. And we have said, or we have discussed, that this loose connective tissue have different kinds of cells, fibroblasts, immune cells, and inside of it we can see capillaries and nerve tissue, lymphatic tissue, which is not and also lymphatic tissue, which is not easy to see. So we are going only to discuss the blood supply, or the capillaries, the nerve tissue, and this loose connective tissue of fibroblasts and extracellular matrix. Under the microscope, we can see this layer of odontoblasts looking pseudostratified, as we have explained. I explained that because of cutting the pulp in an angle, the cells look stacked over each other. Remember this layer above the odontoblasts? We called it predentine in the dentine practical session. Under the odontoblasts, we can see different layers of dental pulp. The first one is called cell-free zone of Weil or Weil, and the cell-rich zone, and then we can see the core of the pulp. These are the layers we are going to discuss today. Again and again, the odontoblastic layer, where there's a cell-free zone here underneath the odontoblast, then a cell-rich zone, and then the pulp or the pulp core. We can see it here. There is a lot of cells under the odontoblasts and the core. When we take a higher magnification, there is odontoblastic layer, white layer here called cell-free zone, then a layer where is a lot of nuclei, we call it the cell-rich zone, and the pulp core. Let's take them one by one. So if we take a higher magnification of the odontoblastic region, we can see this white, all seen as empty area above the odontoblasts, and it is called supra-odontoblastic zone. It means the zone above the odontoblasts. Here we can see the processes of the antigen presenting cells and of the nerve terminals. If we go underneath, of course, we can see the supra-odontoblastic layer here too. Underneath it, we can see the odontoblastic layer, as you can see here. And underneath it, remember the theoretical lecture, there is a cell-free zone, and we said it is better to call it the anuclear zone, because actually there is cell processes of fibroblasts, odontoblasts, capillaries, and nerve terminals here. So it's not free, it's nuclei free, anuclear zone. But there is a lot of cell processes here, and we have discussed in the theoretical lecture that maybe it is because of shrinkage upon preparation of the section, the cells go down, they shrink and go down to this area. That's why this place looks free, and we can see it only in crown. It's not found in the root area. Underneath, we can see this area with a lot of nuclei, because there is a capillary plexus here, a nerve plexus, fibroblasts. So there is a lot of cells here, which makes this area rich in cells and nuclei. That's why it's called cell-rich zone. Again and again, in a lower magnification, you can see here the supra-odontoblastic zone, the odontoblastic layer, the cell-free layer, the cell-free zone of Weil or Weil, the cell-rich zone, and the bulk of the pulp. As you can see here, there are some structures inside. They are cut in longitudinal section. Of course, you can see the blood cells inside the structure. This is a blood vessel, but it is coming together with a nerve bundle that looks like woven wool. As I have said before, look at these structures. All of these are light dark purple woven structures. These are nerve fibers, and all of these structures that have blood cells inside them, red ones, are blood vessels. They are all cut longitudinally. Again and again, you can see here in the supraodontoblastic area some of the odontoblastic processes going inside the tubules. This is the odontoblastic zone, the free cell zone, and you can see a lot of cell processes inside it. So as I said, it's not free actually, it's just a nuclear. And then the cell-rich zone underneath it. The same applies here. Odontoblastic processes. The supraodontoblastic processes is not visible all the time. It needs higher magnification. The cell-free zone, the cell-rich zone, and the pulp, which composed mostly of fibroblasts, extracellular matrix, capillaries, and nerve tissue. Again and again, you can see here the odontoblastic area. As you can see here, the cell-free zone is not visible at this area, or is not really obvious. We can find the cell-rich zone. These sections are most probably taken from the root. The pseudocellified looking odontoblasts. The cell-free zone, it's very thin in thickness. The cell-rich zone. Here it's the same. We're just using different stains. You can go back to the book to take a look at these slides. I took them from there. Here are some capillaries. As you can see, thin-walled, so the most probably are venules. At this section, remember, we have seen this structure before, right? This is a neurovascular bundle. We have seen it in the last part. Just get used to this view, as this is the typical view of a neurovascular bundle with the nerve part and the vascular part. They come together. Of course, the other ones are capillaries, and after the branching, they are not any longer associated with nerves. This one is an arteriole. It has smooth muscles around it. The other ones are venules. And you can take a look here at the fibroblasts. They look stellate, big, with a lot of processes around them. This is a neurovascular bundle. This is the nerve part. Why is it so small? Sometimes it depends on the angle that we have cut the tissue with. And this is an arteriole. You can see smooth muscles around it. Again, in this section, we can see all these beautiful fibroblasts lying in the extracellular matrix. And if we take a look at this structure, it's woven light and dark violet. Same here. So these all are nerve bundles. This one has blood vessels inside, as you can see, blood cells inside. And it's thin-walled, so it's a venule. This is a nerve fiber. All structures that have woven light and dark violet and look like woven wool are wool. They are nerve tissue. They don't have an empty lumen. A smaller magnification showing a little bit supraodontoblastic zone, cell-free zone, and cell-rich zone, and the pulp core. All of this is the pulp core. As you can see here, blood vessel, all of them has blood cells inside. This is also a blood vessel, some nerve tissue here, but it's not so obvious. I need higher magnification to be sure. This is a lower magnification showing a root where there is odontoblasts, almost no cell-free zone, the cell-rich zone, and the pulp core. See here the nerves, the blood vessels with the lumen. You can see the bundle, the neurovascular bundle. It comes together, entering the root and branching afterwards. We just magnified this section in higher magnification. Remember this? This is the neurovascular bundle, the woven light and dark, full of cells view, showing the nerve bundle and the arteriole connected with it. Another section, I found it in the book, so I said to myself, maybe it's worth it to discuss it with you. The odontoblast, the cell-free zone, the cell-free zone, the cell-rich zone, and the bulk of the pulp. Again and again, odontoblasts, cell-free zone, cell-rich zone, and the bulk of the pulp. As you can see here, it's different staining, so you're not going to see the light and dark violet shape, but you can see the woven wool shape of the nerve. This is the nerve, and you can see the nerve terminals here making some kind of plexus. This is the plexus of Frasco. In a higher magnification, it's a woven wool appearance with light and dark, red and pink here. How different is it from the blood vessels, which has a lumen and most probably has some blood cells inside? This is what are we going to see when we have histological sections of the pulp under the microscope. In the next part, we are going to discuss the age changes that happens in the dental pulp.